Friday, February 28th of 2025 at 10 minutes after 8. We've got a temperature of 35 degrees currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Boy, I'm really screwing up today, and I keep forgetting to put your weather in and doing all kinds of goofy stuff today.
Oh,
you know why, don't you?
Don't really have to say that.
Well, I'm giddy this morning because I'm actually going to have somebody here in a couple minutes that can battle me with these two Alabama bums that are in the building here. This Higgins and Crow guy, so I can actually finally have somebody that's on my side here. I mean, let's so that makes me giddy today. I've been excited about it. So we're going to do that, and Steve Higgins is going to be in here in a second for Larry Bruno Foundation. And Noah, you'll be back at 8:30 with more news headlines.
All right, see you then.
All right.
It's time to wake up and get driving in the fast lane here on Beaver County Radio. It's the morning show that talks about what's happening in the news, locally, regionally, and nationally. There's also music to get you started for the day. It's all brought to you by Patriot Home Care. And now, here is the host of the show, Frank Sparks.
And we are back here on Driving the Fast Lane. It's been a whirlwind of the morning. We started out talking about a lady who wanted to have a deer for a pet in Fayette County, and the game commissioner told her, no, you cannot do that because it was born in the wild. And then we went on to eating Stengel's Bakery's Putschkis and king cake. I didn't get the baby, so I guess I don't get to be king for the day. But then we have now Steve Higgins. Well, we talked to Greg Brown from the Bucks, and now we got Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation joining us this morning. And we also have a special guest as well this morning. So
great to be here on this glorious morning, Frank. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. And as I told you, I have been a little giddy. And the reason why I've been giddy, and because now I finally have somebody that can help me, defend me against you two Alabama guys, this Higgins and this Crow guy. We've got Donovan Jeter joining us, Michigan grad, and all I can say is go blue. I know it's the year after you graduated, Donovan, but I am, and Steve will tell you, I am sporting my 2022 Big Ten Champions T-shirt today because, that's the only football team there is in the world, the winningest program, right?
Always, yes, sir.
Well, I don't know, Donovan. It might be another Bama against Michigan game this morning. You ready for it?
I don't know if y'all want to see us again, to be honest. I don't know if y'all want to see us again.
You know what, Frank? He's right. It's one of those teams that always give Bama trouble. Notre Dame back in my day, in the 70s, as great as Bear Bryant was, he always had a problem with Notre Dame.
Right.
Okay. And it seems like Michigan kind of has Bama's number as well.
Absolutely. At this point, the last few years they have. So no doubt about it. So, well, Donovan, let's start out. Let's talk a little bit about your time growing up here in Beaver County and playing at Beaver Falls High School. So tell everybody a little bit about your career, your high school career, and some of the accolades because you've got a couple championships. And if I'm not mistaken, a last-minute buzzer shot in basketball as well, right?
His cousin.
That was his cousin? Okay, all right. I couldn't remember which Jeter scored. There's so many Jeters.
Well, first of all, before Donovan gets started, let me say that the Jeter family
absolutely
is one of the top sports families in Beaver Falls history. Okay, they're ranked up there with the Waltons and the Omagrossos and the DeChillis and the Rosses.
Okay.
These names that resonate, that you've had players year after year and decade after decade perform in the orange and black, in the Jeter family is one of those families.
Well, that's one of the names, too, when you see it. Even if it's like at an NFL level or in pro sports or something, you have to wonder if there's a tie somewhere to Beaver County because the Jeter family's been so athletic in Beaver County and done such in every sport.
And Donovan was a member, when you're a member of a state championship team like he was in high school, you're forever a hero in Beaver Falls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was forever a hero as well, beating my New Brighton Lions every year, too. So, but it is what it is. So tell us a little bit about your career in high school and, what your thoughts looking back on it are.
So growing up, I couldn't wait to get to high school because I tell the kids I coach now, I grew up when the basketball team and the football team were rock stars. Like Lance, Jack Anderson, Puka, Dana Stevenson, and then I got to watch Sheldon, my brother, him, Royce, Elijah, Drew Cook. Like, those dudes are rock stars, man. Like, you used to want to go to the game as a kid and actually watch the game. A lot of kids, they run around and all that. And then on the football side, you had Todd Thomas, who was just, I still can't believe some of the things he's done. Cody Cook, who I think is the best running back in Beaver Falls history. No shade to anybody else. So that was an inspiration. And then the biggest thing for me personally was wanting to honor my family. You guys touched on it, man. We're a blessed family. We're up there pound for pound with anybody. And I wanted to carry that torch. Like, I didn't want to be the one to, that didn't fulfill the prophecy. And growing up, it was hard work. I was in the gym probably like full time since I was like 9 years old. I got to work out probably thousands of hours with my brother Sheldon and my dad. And it was a blessing, man. They taught me a lot of life lessons, not just about sports, just about hard work, being disciplined, being consistent, handling your business like a man. And I'm super fortunate to come up the way I did. And then when we got to high school, my sophomore year, we were right there at the Whitfield in basketball. We lost at the buzzer, and then we went back my junior year and closed the show and got a championship. Football, it was frustrating in a sense of we were getting right there every year and losing to Aliquippa. So my senior year, when we finally broke through and beat those guys at Hines, and then went on and won a state championship, it was a dream come true. And it was amazing because the thing I love about high school football, man, and I've been fortunate enough to play at the college level, NFL level. College and NFL, it's not really the same. Like, high school, you're playing and growing and winning football games with the guys you grew up with. You go to school with these guys 5 days a week. You hang out on the weekends together. It's a whole different type of camaraderie. And being the first team in Beaver Falls to win a state championship in football, it holds a lot of rank. And so being my Beaver Falls career, it was a blessing, man. I got some great personal accolades. But all that came from the work me and my father put in on the day-to-day, man. I tell these kids now, because, it's like a little social media era where they don't understand. They're caught on instant gratification. They think, I put a day of work in, so I should be able to go out and score 20 points. And I tell dudes, I'm like, like, it takes years, like thousands of hours to go out and consistently go get 20 points, or to step on a football field and go get 3 or 4 sacks, or go score a couple touchdowns, or do whatever your position requires. But I tell the guys all the time, like, the work that went into the product that I became and me and my family became, it's hours and hours and hours of work. And that's why I try to stress to the kids now that, like, nothing comes overnight. Like, nothing comes overnight. But with my career I had at Beaver Falls, it was an amazing blessing, man. I'm grateful for the family I got. They supported me every step of the way, and it's just a blessing to be a part of a great family like ours.
At what point did you realize that you were going to be able to play at the next level, even at Division I college football?
My sophomore year. Freshman year, I started tight end in football, but I didn't get to play much defense because that 2013 Beaver Falls team was loaded. And so I started on offense, but I didn't play much on defense. So sophomore year, it was kind of like my breakout year. And I was just out there. It was actually against Summit Academy. And I had like 5 TFLs, and I'm like, this is like way too easy. And then I just kept dominating. And sophomore year, I really didn't even know what I was doing technique-wise. It was just I was blessed with great athleticism, and I had a natural instinct just to make plays on the football field. And then junior year, that was the year I felt like I was one of the best defensive players, not in just Pennsylvania, but in the country. And I was going to camps. I was winning D lineman of the camp. I was going pound for pound with any defensive end in the country, whether they're from here or California. I was going pound for pound with them. So, but I definitely think my sophomore and junior year is like where I kind of took the leap mentally, where I'm like, you know what, like I could play on Saturdays and Sundays. Because as a kid, it was always my goal, but goals don't, dreams don't always meet reality. But fortunate for me, my dreams met reality. So it was I would definitely say my sophomore and junior years where I kind of took a jump.
Donovan, you obviously, I remember your career. I watched you in basketball and football, and we all knew that you were destined for greatness. You were obviously recruited pretty heavily out of high school. You could have played basketball. I thought you were good enough to play basketball in college. I remember Notre Dame was in the mix for your recruiting, and then all of a sudden, how did you end up at Michigan?
So I originally committed to Notre Dame. I was committed. It was the year they went, but I committed for the wrong reasons. First off, Notre Dame is an amazing university. Great coaching, great staff. I had nothing bad about Notre Dame that will ever come out of my mouth. Like they gave me a chance. They gave me a scholarship and an opportunity to further my playing career. But I committed for the wrong reasons. I committed because I went on an official visit, had a great time, but I didn't play the field well enough, and I kind of committed because I was like, you know what, like I'm tired of the recruiting process. I just want to focus on my senior year, And then as time went on, the commitment just didn't sit right with me. And Greg Madison, who's a legendary D-line coach in the football world, he was our coach. He was the D-line coach in Michigan at the time. And even when I committed, he sent me a text, and he was like, "Congratulations, kid," but he was like, "I promise you'll be amazing blue." And I'm like, "All right, thanks, coach. Good luck." Da da da. So 3 weeks go by. Like Notre Dame's looking. They weren't looking good that year. It was the year they went like 3-9. They had that weird year where just nothing went their way. And I talked to my dad about it, and he was kind of on the same page. And then I decommitted. And literally, I decommitted it was like a Thursday morning. By lunchtime, Nick Saban called me. Coach Matty and Coach Harbaugh called me at Michigan. Coach Narduzzi called me. James Franklin called me.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, all right, well, I guess everybody knows my recruitment's back open.
Yeah.
So, and then the next thing I know, the next morning, Greg Madison's walking in school. Coach Matty, who I love to death, man, he was an amazing coach and amazing mentor for me. He's walking in school. I'm like, who's this old dude walking? Look in this Michigan gear. And Coach Matsook, Ryan Matsook, another great coach that I was fortunate to play under. He's like, hey man, hey kid, Michigan's here to see you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I sit down, me and Coach Matty talking. And he's like, I told you I sent you that text that you're gonna be amazing blue. So he was like, how about this? Next weekend after your game, come. We'll fly you out to Ann Arbor. We'll show you how we do things in Michigan. So I go out there, and I'm a big defensive guy. Like I love defense. Like I believe in any sport, defense is going to win you championships. You can have an offense that puts up 50 points a game, but if your defense isn't stopping nobody, you're not going to win. So we go in there. I meet Don Brown, who's my defensive coordinator for 4 out of my 5 years at Michigan. And I walk into the room, and I think I was up there for homecoming. I want to say we played Illinois that night, and the defense was they were ferocious. Like I was like, that's what I want to play in. And at that time, I don't know if you guys remember, like that 2016 Michigan defense, they were number 1 in the country across the board. Mm-hmm. Sacks, TFLs, rushing yards per game, passing yards per game, total. Like it was one of the greatest defenses to grace a football field in the last 20 years. And I was like, and Matty, I'm sitting down with Matty and Coach Brown, and he was like, now you can go into defense where your defensive linemen are 2 gapping and you're not really attacking. He's like, or you could come play with us. He's like, you're going to pin your ears back. You're going to knock O-linemen off the ball. You're going to run to the ball, and you're going to hit people really hard. And you're going to get up, and you're going to do it again every single day. And I was like, you know what? Like, and it was very similar to my high school defense at the time, where I tell people about the team that won that state championship because we got a lot of guys who were amazing on offense, but I tell people that was a defensive team. Our identity was on defense because we knew we had enough athletes to score. We knew like we locked in on defense. We'll dominate everybody. And Michigan kind of took that same attitude because like when you win with defense, you play with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, man. Like winning games defensively isn't pretty. Like it's not like you're putting up 35, 40 points a game. It's not pretty, but it sets the tone. It's like it's almost like saying I'm more of a man than you. Like I'm going to line up and I'm going to keep hitting you until I break your will. And that's what we did in high school. And Michigan was a mirror image of that. And then another thing that took me over the top in Michigan was the coaching tree of Coach Harbaugh. Every coach on the staff either played or coached in the NFL for 5+ years. So they had a bunch of NFL connections. So and then to put the cherry on top, Michigan was the number one public university in the world. So it's like you get the best academics, you get the best football, and every Saturday I tell my kids that I coach, like I can't really replicate the feeling. I was like, I was fortunate enough to walk out every Saturday in front of 115,000 people, and it's mind blowing. Like it's different being in the stands or being on the sideline. Like when you're running out knowing you're about to play, and there's 115,000 people backing you up, it's a very empowering feeling. And like I said, I'm fortunate enough to be in that situation and have these type of conversations. But yeah, I would definitely say the coaching at Michigan really took me over the top, and it was a choice I'd make 10 times out of 10.
I'll tell you, Donovan, you're making Frank Sparks' day today because he's sitting over here with a big grin on his face and listening to you talk about the Big Blue because he's such a Michigan lover. But you know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, Donovan. Your brother played hoops at Pitt, and, in Beaver County, there's a lot of Pitt fans in this area. And did you ever consider Pitt in your recruiting process?
100%. Like, Pitt was my number 2 school. Like, when I committed, if I didn't go to Michigan, I was either going to go to Pitt or Penn State. Like, Pitt and Penn State were tied for number 2. I had an amazing relationship with Coach Pat Narduzzi. The reason I didn't go to Pitt, I wanted to get out of the shadow of being Sheldon's little brother. And don't get me wrong, I love my family more than words could express, but I wanted to go set my own path. I didn't want to go to Pitt and Sheldon's little brother's here. I've been hearing Sheldon's little brother my whole life. And it's like, that's not a knock. Like that's because Sheldon was amazing. So like naturally I'm the little brother. But I wanted to go blaze my own path. And I did that. Like I was fortunate enough to win a Big Ten championship. I played in some of the most viewed games in college football history. And I made plays, and I was fortunate enough to make plays in those games. So the only reason I didn't go to Pitt, they were another defense I love, because if you know about Pitt, they put defensive linemen in the draft like it's their job. Like they're doing an amazing job with their front seven. So they were right there, but like I said, I just wanted to blaze my own path and make my own way, and I like to think that I did that.
You surely did, Donovan, and I want to tell you, we from Beaver Falls and Beaver County were very, very proud of watching you play at Michigan, and you made us all proud, brother. I just wanted to tell you that.
Appreciate that.
All right, we're visiting this morning with Donovan Jeter, along with Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation, and we're going to do news. You got some time to hang out with us, Donovan?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we're going to take about a 2-minute break. We're going to do news for a couple minutes, and then after news, we'll be back with more here on Driving in the Fast Lane here on Beaver County Radio. Celebrate this President's Day with a great night's sleep for less, a lot less at AK Nahas. This President's Day, save up to $925 on the new Certa Perfect Sleeper X, iComfort Pro, and Beauty Rest Black. Add an adjustable base for $525, any size. Get a dual-sided flip-able queen mattress for just $649, or this firm queen mattress for just $299. All this plus free delivery, setup, and removal. Sleep better for less at AK Nahas Appliance, Furniture, Mattress, and TV. You'll do okay with AK.
We have Art Cornell here from the Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum. Art, What's new at the cemetery?
We've just completed a new addition to the mausoleum with above-ground burial crypts, indoor and outdoor niches, and family areas. The Beaver Mausoleum advantages include no plot maintenance, the convenience of a heated and air-conditioned building for visitation, and an adjoining private chapel. It's a perfect final resting place for your loved ones.
Thanks, Art. Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum, serving all of Beaver County since 1865. Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care, 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
It is now 8:31. Here's Noah Haswell. He has headline news.
Thank you, Frank. Coming up at 9:05 on News Headlines, Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano has a report on a shooting in Ambridge that left one person dead and one person in custody. Senator Elder Vogel Jr. announces a state grant to both upgrade safety and fix an intersection in Center Township. A new website called Eyes on Air was launched by the Beaver County Marcellus Awareness Community to help participants be aware of both trends in pollution and what can be found in the local air. Vitalin is hosting blood drives in March for those who are eligible. Connect Beaver County's broadband program is providing necessary infrastructure to give internet with higher speeds to over 2,000 Beaver County locations. Pennsylvania American Water's mandatory conservation order has been lifted in Allegheny, Beaver, and Washington counties, and State Representative Aaron Bernstein introduced legislation with a bill called Simon's Law to help protect the rights of parents and guardians in the medical decision-making process for minors. For the weather forecast, we have partly sunny skies today with a high near 49. Tonight will be mostly cloudy skies with a low of around 29, and tomorrow will be mostly cloudy skies with a temperature falling to around 26. On this Friday, February 28th of 2025 at 32 minutes after 8, we've got a temperature of 35 degrees currently in Beaver County. That's a look at news headlines. More at 9:05. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
And the Pittsburgh Penguins pulled out an emotional victory over the cross-state Philadelphia Flyers and their rivals last night after getting beat 6-1 earlier in the week by the Penguins. Here's Paul Steigerwald with more.
The Penguins fell behind again to the Flyers in Pittsburgh on Thursday night, 3-0 before mounting a comeback. Erik Karlsson scored twice on the way to the comeback, making it 4-3 before the end of the second period. And then early in the third period, Evgeny Malkin scored to tie the game at 4, and then he eventually won it in overtime, 5-4.
Karlsson with 2 goals tonight. Here come the Penguins, 2-on-1. Malkin near circle, slows down, shoots it, scores! Evgeny Malkin, the overtime hero, and the Penguins take down the in-state rival. The Flyers are down.
A 4-point night for Malkin, 2 goals for Erik Karlsson, and Joel Blomqvist came on in relief of Alex Nedeljkovic and stopped 21 of 22 shots on the way to the win. So the Penguins get a nice bit of redemption against the Flyers. A little tough start for the Penguins, but a great finish to win it 5-4. This is Paul Steigerwald for the Penguins Radio Network.
And the Pens are next in action on Saturday afternoon at PPG Paints Arena for the front half of a back-to-back taking on the Boston Bruins. We'll catch up with the Penguins, however, early on Sunday afternoon as they host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Airtime is 12:30 here on Beaver County Radio. The Buccos beat the Minnesota Twins 12-1 in spring training baseball yesterday. And then also tune in to our sister station, 95.7 FM at 1460 for NASCAR racing this weekend at the Circuits of America. It'll be 2 p.m. on Saturday for the Xfinity Series and 3 p.m. for the Cup Series. Road course specialist now back in the Cup Series full-time. A.J. Allmendinger was asked earlier this week by the MRN Network, what's it going to be like with this new configured track?
It's kind of the same theory as Watkins Glen not running the full track, right? Like, it's going to pack everybody up. I'm going to miss the section that we're not going to run anymore. But I do understand the theory of why we're doing it. You want the people in the grandstand to see us go by more. So, we're probably going to go by at least, 30 more times. I don't even know how many laps it's going to be more, but it's going to tighten the race up. And with that section that they're putting in, we're probably going to beat on each other, and there's going to be probably a lot more mad people after the race than there are usually at COTAs. So it's what you all love.
Again, that audio courtesy of the Motor Racing Network. A big congrats goes out to the Bobby Moe men's basketball team. They clinched the Horizon League championship last night. The Colonials were led by Josh Omajofo's 27 points as they defeated IU Indianapolis 82-68 to clinch the regular season title. And Pitt basketball legend Super Sam Clancy had his number 15 retired by the Pitt Panthers this week. And finally in sports, Steph Curry. He went on and he went off last night, 56 points, 12 three-pointers last night, one shy of his own personal record and two shy of the record for three-pointers in a game in the NBA. And we have to remind everybody, though, that we do have high school basketball for you. It's a triple header tomorrow. All gets started at 10:30 a.m. when the Aliquippa girls will be taking on the Shannock in the girls 2A final. Then in game 2 of the triple header, it'll be the Aliquippa boys' turn to try and bring home gold as they will take on South Allegheny in the 3A final. Then we'll finish up your day. The Blackhawk Lady Cougars in the 4A final will be taking on Oakland Catholic. Mike Azadi and Frank Salapak and Gene Matsuk will all have the call here on Beaver County Radio. That's a look at sports, and now it's time to get back to driving in the fast lane with Steve Higgins and our guest Donovan Jeter here on Beaver County Radio. It is 8:36. And it's a little chilly out there this morning from the 34 degrees. I get in here early. It's really chilly, but at least it's warming up a little bit. So, Donovan, next question I want to ask you is, what was it like playing for a legend like Jim Harbaugh?
It was amazing, man. I tell people, Coach Harbaugh, if you don't love football, he's going to make it very hard for you to be around. And I tell people, the things you see in the media about him, the personality he portrays in the media, that's him on the day-to-day basis. We had it plastered all over the room, over the facility. We're going to attack the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, and he meant every word of that. And you could tell he was a former player, because I know he wanted to put pads on, man. He used to get so fired up for practices, games.